Yeah, welcome to class. How are you doing? We are live now. Okay, let me see if I can see it from this end as well. It's the purpose gap conversation. That's what today is about. Purpose gap. I hope you're ready. You're ready. Type in the comment. I'm ready, ready. Coach Faith, I am ready. Super duper ready. So let's do this. Welcome to class. I want to appreciate you for joining me. Today is your first time joining me in class, welcome to the show. Welcome aboard. You are welcome, welcome. I want to celebrate you for coming around. I see Faith. Faith, how are you? Welcome to class. All right. Who else is in the class? Who else is in the building? Join us. We are ready to do this. We're ready to take this to the next level. We are ready to take this to the next level. All right. Faith is ready. Who else is ready in the building? Who else is ready to learn? Like you are ready, super ready to experience light, to experience transformation on every side. I can see my beautiful face here. Okay, let's get right into the conversation. Faith, please send reminders to all our platforms so they can join in. Is the purpose gap conversation, the space between knowing and doing. That's what we're looking at. In fact, when it comes to bridging this gap between knowing and doing, when it comes to bridging this gap, the truth is it cannot be over or underemphasized because bridging the gap has to happen in all areas of life continuously all the time. There's never a level we get to where like, oh, I know how to bridge it 100%, right? But there are levels to this thing. Somebody should type levels. There are levels to this thing. There are levels to it. There are levels to them. How we bridge gaps has a huge role to play as to how well we're able to scale, as to how well we're able to build something formidable. All right? Something formidable that can truly stand the test of time on our journey of growth and impact. Do you see that? So that's why this is very close to my heart. I've interacted with so many amazing people, trust me, family, so many amazing people, leaders of industries, platforms, blueprints creators, red prints creators. I've interacted with a lot of them. And one thing that I've often seen is the fact that people have desires. Mhm. They have desires of the kind of life that they want to live. They have desires of the kind of life they want to live. But just that many at times they find it very difficult to bridge the gap between desires and discipline. It's not enough to desire a glorious future. We all desire it. We all want to be brilliant. We want to be exceptional. We want to truly stand out. We all want to have such experiences. But how many people are truly ready, more than ready, to do the needful, to do the work as we connect to where we are headed, as we connect to what the purpose journey looks like? Many people start off halfway, and after a while, they just give up on the journey. They just give up. Sometimes, when the result you are also anticipating is no longer aligning with your journey, it becomes a problem. People give up on the way. They give up on the journey, and that's why this conversation is very close to my heart. We're looking at bridging the gap between knowing and doing. That's the purpose gap. We have gaps in different areas of our lives, right? But there's such a thing as a purpose gap. Knowing and then also doing, ensuring that you're able to bridge the gap between where you are right now and where you are headed. I hope you're ready. Let's do this, family. Let's do this on a deeper level. If you are ready, type ready in the comments. Let me see your emojis. Let me see your hearts. Let me see that you are ready to do the work. Okay, let me invite members of my inner circle. If you are here, like, tell me your name and where you're joining from. Where are you joining us from tonight? Tell us in the comment section. We'd love to connect with you. We'd love to get to know you. All right, so let's go on. Let me share my slides. The purpose gap. The purpose gap. If I knew something like this many years ago, in fact, I really love the times that we're in. I love this season. I love this era. I love the opportunities that are everywhere right now. That you can even wake up and have certain level of awareness. It's more than enough for us to just do the work. All right. It's just that many times our level of execution are usually not aligning, not incongruent with the journey that we are on, with the journey that we're on. So for that reason, a lot of people find it very difficult to do the work. They find it very difficult to show up. They find it very difficult to be intentional with the overall process. Okay. Thank you, Jimo. I see you. They find it very difficult to be intentional with the overall process. Okay, let me open my slides here so I can get myself connected. So the slide on the screen is for you. Mm-hmm. That one is for you. I hope you can see it clearly. Can you see it clearly? Can you see it clearly? So there's a space between knowing your calling and actually living it. There's a space. Okay. Have you had interactions with people over the years who will tell you, Coach Faith, my purpose is to do this for women. My purpose is to do that in my community. My purpose is to do this and be a support system to this vision. Have you heard such people? Usually, they are always so excited. They are always so motivated about those experiences. They talk about them all the time, 100% of the time. Oh, this is what it is. I was sleeping 2010, and the Lord laid in my heart, and it came like a revelation, a moment of serendipity. We have all of these different encounters we've spoken about, right? But I know that there are also some people who say, Coach, I really don't know what it is yet. Okay. Whatever level you are in, we're going to demystify all the gaps today. Okay. All the gaps today. Like I shared today. Welcome, Mary. Welcome to class. Like I shared in one of my write-up today. I said the fact that you are here, it's an evidence, okay, to attest to the fact that you carry an assignment, that your essence of being here is relevant in this day and age. Do you see that? That it is relevant in this day and age. The fact that you are here today. Do you see that? The fact that you are alive, the fact that you still exist in the earth realm, is an evidence, it's an attestation to the fact that you carry an assignment, that your presence is relevant, that your assignment is relevant in this day and age. In fact, some years ago, I started to ask myself and God, I'm like, God, why am I existing in this time? Why didn't I exist in time of David or in the time of Noah? Why am I existing in this day and age? I've asked that question severally. I've had to ask. Have you asked that question before? Why am I existing in this 21st century, in the era of AI? It means that my presence here is relevant. My presence in this day and age is relevant. There is an assignment. There is something that is connected to my existence. And the fact that I showed up here in the earth realm, it's an attestation to the fact that there is work to be done. I like to type in the comment that there is work to be done by Faith Michael, by One Mary, by Jimo, by Bushe Faith. There is work to be done. There is an assignment to carry out, and it is only you that can carry out that assignment. It is only your name that is written on that assignment. You are the only person that can unlock it with the unique DNA and fingerprint that is connected to that assignment. When it comes to purpose, we are saying, what's your DNA on earth? What's your DNA? What's your unique fingerprint on earth? That's what we're saying. Because if you live in a house that you have to use your fingerprint to open the door, or let's even say your device, you have to use your fingerprint to lock and to open the device. If you don't show up with your fingerprint, that phone will be as good as useless, right? It will be as good as useless. Okay, for most of us who are iPhone users, for example, you understand what I'm saying? That if somebody decides to steal that phone today, it may be as good as useless because there are so many things they will not be able to do, like using their SIM on the phone because it has to be connected to iCloud, right? Until you are able to unlock it, it will not work. So there is a uniqueness. It's in fact the moment I realized this family, it started to give me the freedom to want to express who I am on the inside. with so much level of dexterity and openness. The book I recommended for members of my Grow Garden for the month is You Are a Badass by Jane Cicero. And I was just saying in one of the sessions that when it comes to badassery, a badass personality is someone who is not self-sabotaging. I know we all self-sabotage in one point or the other, but a badassery is more like the opposite of someone who loves to sabotage. Who loves to sabotage. So if you're saying you are a badass, it simply means you are unapologetic. All right. So the moment you realize that your presence on earth is an attestation to the fact that you carry an assignment. It's an attestation of the fact that you are a badass. Mhm. You are a badass. That you carry something that is so uniquely attached to your DNA that it is only you that can unlock it. So whenever we talk about purpose, we're talking about work. Yes, we're talking about work. What work are you called to do? Because you're not called to come and sit down, break melon, cook beans, and just look good. That's not why you are called. Excuse me. Give me a minute. No, 30 seconds. It is an attestation to the fact that you have been called, right? There is work to be done. God didn't send you here to come and eat and just look good, look beautiful on camera, you know, have kids, work in a nice place, live in a gated estate, and just be good. That's not why you are called. Your calling is necessary to fill a gap in this day and age, to fill a gap in the system, in the times that we're in. It is necessary for you to work, fill that gap. And that's why we're having this conversation today. The truth about where you are right now, if you look at the times that we're in, statistics has proven that 85% of people are not living their true purpose. I like you to write that in the comments. 85% of people are not living their true purpose. They are not. 85%. And 70% have big goals, but no clear plan. They have a big goal, but they do not have a clear plan. And then 2% never achieve the goals they set. All right? Not because you're broken, not because you are behind, but you are simply standing in a gap no one showed you. All right? No one showed you. So the essence of this conversation is so that you understand the gap that you currently standing on and see how you can begin to bridge those gaps. Really important. I hope you're following. Yes, 85% are not living their purpose. Someone just said that there is a difference between existing and living. So the person said, I really love the definition. The person said that to be in existence means that you wake up, you pay bills, you also make use of the oxygen that we are making use of, you eat and all of that. So to be living means that there is something that you are living for. Do you see that? That you are living for something bigger than yourself. You are living for an assignment. You are living for a mandate. Okay? So for those of you that are just joining for the first time, welcome to the show. Yes, these are Tuesday webinar. We had one last week, and today we're having another one to really help us solidify the conversation we started last week. Last week was simply about not doubting yourself. Yeah, I shared a lot about not doubting yourself. And today we're looking at how to bridge the gap, okay, as it has to do with where we are and where we ought to be. So my name is Faith Michael. If you are meeting me for the first time, I'm a coach, I'm an educator, I'm a reading specialist, a personal development catalyst. I live in Nigeria, in the city of Nigeria, my hometown. So what I do is that I help individuals like you, professionals, okay, to build capacity. I help them build capacity that will surely help them navigate the path of purpose. I do that all the time through different systems, accountability structures, productivity systems, just to ensure that you're able to do the needful. Because I know that we all have good intention, like I said before. Now, if you look at the word purpose in itself, the P-U-R-O there means pure, pure. The pose is for positioning, right? So it means that your ability to begin to stand firm in your purest intention is what purpose is. Your purest intention. Just like when a manufacturer manufactures a thing, there is an intention behind that manufacturing. Whenever I put out a program, there is an intention. There is a need I want to meet. There are lives I want to bless. I want to bless, right? There is always an intention. So your purpose is the purest intention of your existence. The purest intention of your existence is not that some people are not doing certain things. They are doing something that may also be connected to their purpose. But if you are not living to the highest realm of that intentional connection, as it has to do with what God created you for, and as it has to do with where you are going, all right, it's going to be a problem for you to continue on that path, for you to experience fluidity, for you to experience flow on that journey. It's going to be a problem. So that is why when we talk about purpose, we're talking about what is the purest intention. A lot of people will say, oh, Coach Sid, I think I know what my purpose is. I think I have a glimpse into it. But what's going on? Why are you not truly living into the highest realm of such expression? So if you know that this is the work I'm called to do, like I said, the purpose is work. Somebody should type work. If you know that this is the work you are called to do, you need to be sleeping. If you go to the office right now, and then your boss says, oh, Egbushe, this is what you should do today. One part, Mary, this is what you should do today. Will you be sleeping on a bicycle? No. Will you be joking about it? No. Because you know that the work that your boss has given to you, by virtue of the fact that it's your boss, he pays your salary, you work together, you are mandated to get on board the journey to ensure that the results are attained at the end of the day, right? The results are attained. Some people go to work 8 a.m., they close by 6. I know people go to work by 7 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and they come back by 11 p.m., right? Working on a project. Working on a project. That's work. So if we're talking about your assignment, if we're talking about your purpose, if we're talking about what you're called to do, it simply means that we must embrace it. There must be an element of embodiment for true transformation to occur. There has to be an element of embodiment. We're not going to do it haphazardly. We're not going to do it just because we want to do it on papers. No, that's expressing the purest intent of why you were made, of why you were created, the purest intent of why you are here. I've sat in those same uncertainty before many times, all right? Feeling the pull to do more, to be there, all right? To just understand what that path look like so I can begin to work. Some of you are just waiting to have a glimpse, to have an understanding of what that path is, and then you zoom, you are ready to work, all right? Some already know, have a glimpse, but they're not even doing it because they're not too sure, right? When you are not sure, it means you don't know. It means you don't know. But not in all cases, though, because even if you are not sure sometimes, if you have an understanding on how to begin to take tiny little steps, it's okay. A baby learns to walk by taking one step at a time. They will fall many times, they will get up, they will learn how not to take it anymore, how not to walk that way anymore, and they continue to scale at that level. Before you know it, they are running. Okay? A child starts learning to walk today. In a few months, you come back, the child is already saying, auntie, you're welcome. They're already running to help you take one or two. They're already running to meet you to just smile and look good, waiting for the bobo and the biscuits that you have for them. Do you see what I'm saying now? So, what I've discovered on this journey has become a framework, has become a framework that I now use to help other people who truly want to build capacity because they need it for their next level. So, this is not theory. This is not just something that I've not been on. I've been on this journey for the past years, living my life intentionally as a woman of purpose. Amen. Amen. Many of you know this. Amen. As a woman of purpose, I want you to know that that journey, if you're not working on it yet already, it is time for you to begin to work on that journey. All right. Because that journey is so peaceful. If you look at, in fact, according to research, if you look at our brain waves, the moment you step on the path of purpose, the moment you start to walk it out, there is so much lightning, fulfillment that's going to be happening in your brain. According to research, it is the highest realm of excitement. It is a glimpse of fulfillment that God has given to us to experience eternity yet on earth. The moment you start living in purpose, it is a glimpse into eternity, like a glimpse of what you would experience in eternity when you start living the fullness of who God has made you to be. Do you see that? So, what is purpose? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you woke up knowing exactly why you were getting out of bed? Like you go to bed every night, right? It's already late. My place right now is almost 8 p.m. You go to bed every night, you sleep. When you wake up in the morning, do you say, "Oh, I know what my purpose is," right? Like Miles Moron popularized a saying that when the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is unavoidable. Okay? Abuse is inevitable. So you wake up every morning, not because of an alarm, not because of the bill you have to pay, but because there's something inside that is pulling you toward something that matters. All right? Purpose is the answer to that pull. Someone says, I think it's Michael Bernard Beckwith, I first heard it from. It says, pain pushes until purpose pulls, until vision pulls. Pain pushes until your vision pulls, your purpose pulls. So, purpose is the answer to the pull that you feel right now. Purpose is the answer to it. It's already in you. The only question is, are you living it? It's already in you. Nobody has to do that for you. It's already in you. So today we're talking about the 10 gaps between you and your purpose. This is the core of the conversation today. So by the time we are done with this, we'll say amen and then we'll go and sleep. The 10 gaps between you and your purpose. I always talk about the need for optimizing your doable initiative. The need for optimizing your doable initiative, right? The need for us to optimize it, the need for us to upgrade it. It's not easy to execute, it's not easy to do the work. I'm telling you, human beings were naturally lazy. We just want to wake up in the bed, have something to eat, go back to sleep, watch a movie, go back to sleep again. That's the thing we like. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, when I get to heaven, I will not suffer. You know what they are indirectly saying? They are saying that when they get to heaven, they will not do any work. They will not do nothing. They will just wake up in the morning and be so jobless. And they stretch their hands and their legs and they just eat the food that the angels will prepare. As they finish eating, they watch a movie from Netflix, Netflix Heaven edition. And then when they are done with that, they go back to bed. Then by the time it's afternoon, they call the kitchen, oh, what do you have for us this evening? And they eat. So that's the picture that we see as enjoying in heaven, right? So this is what you have to understand, the 10 gaps. The first one is the clarity gap. Come on. We have the clarity gap, the knowledge gap, the structure gap, accountability gap, identity gap, mindset gap, action gap, community gap, resource gap, and sustainability gap. Look at the 10 gaps. Look at them critically. Look at them critically. Which one is standing out for you right now? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which one is standing out for you right now? Which one is standing out for you right now amongst the 10 gaps? Tell me in the comments. Which one is standing out for you right now? Whether you like it or not, we all have gaps in our life, like I said before. Um, I think it was 2 weeks ago in the growth garden we spoke about um, growth gaps. I mean, I think I remember. I gave a lot of assignments. I said go check them out. So now we're talking about purpose gap. That way I will merge this conversation as I know you are here. Gelly is here. I see Gelly. I see Jimo in the growth garden. I see one comedy. Almost everyone is here. A few almost everyone here are from the growth garden. Okay, so if I were you, I'll merge this knowledge with the knowledge I've received as it connects to um the what's it called, the wisdom I received from the growth gap. Somebody said gap 4, interesting. Okay, which of the gap is synonymous to you right now? Accountability gap, interesting. Which one? Which one? Which one? Okay, because if you lack any of these gaps, okay, trust me, you may not be able to get results. And for example, if you're in a season where the gap you need to bridge is the clarity gap, because purpose is in seasons. And that's when we talk about assignment. All right. Purpose expresses itself in seasons. For example, in the past couple of months, you've always seen me showcase my programs of personal development, vision and a whole lot. Now we have not entered into another season where you have seen me showcasing program. We just opened up our reading challenge that we're promoting, right? So these are different seasons. These are different seasons on my journey because as it comes as an assignment per season, I zone into it. I ensure that I help people get results. I help people build capacity because this is the reason I'm here. This is the reason I'm still breathing. All right. This is the reason I'm still breathing. So if you don't understand the season you are in, you may not even know the gap that you are lacking. Because a lot of times, because our purposes exist in seasons, we have different gaps per time. Do you see that? So you may be in a particular season where clarity is required 100%. You may be in a season where it is just the knowledge gap. You may be in a season where it is the structure gap. You may be in a season where it is the accountability gap. You may also be in a season where it is identity gap, mindset gap, action gap, community gap, resource gap, and sustainability gap. You may be in any of those seasons per time. So if someone is in the clarity gap season, and you are in the mindset gap season or the action gap season, it may be difficult for both of you to be accountability partners somehow, except if one is sort of leveraging on the wisdom that one got from a certain season to go through the season and then vice versa. It may also be that, then it can work. So you can see that in all of those gaps, if you don't know your season, it will be difficult for you to know what is the problem. There was a season as a coach, as a mentor, I was really battling with something that has to do with structure. I was battling with knowledge. I was battling with uh, what's it called, community gap. And that's what I started to talk about. At some point, I started to talk about knowing your identity circles, people that are meant to be in your circle per season. Know your identity circle. That when you know those are meant to be in your circle per season, some of the things that you struggle with will as well be some most of the time is always their own realities, right? And if there's something you are struggling with and you now rest in a community where this is a norm, where this is their own reality, it becomes easier for you to navigate through because it's a norm for them. It just rubs off on you. Because one thing you glean from community is the fact that willpower would always rub off on you in communities. Willpower would always rub off on you in communities. That's one beautiful thing about being in a community, right? It rubs off on you. The energy is contagious. It's often contagious. Do you see that? So by the time you realize that my gap is actually just an identity gap, you see, on this purpose journey, you know, one thing I always see a lot of people are very lazy to do the work, who do not understand where they are and where they are headed. One thing I always see them complain of is the resource gap. How many of you have heard that before? Yeah, if you have heard that, let me know. It's a resource gap. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 every time we see a man or a woman who is not functioning optimally on the journey of purpose, and you ask them categorically, what is stopping you? Why are you not doing the work? Oh, I've not seen a sponsor. I've not seen somebody to help me financially. Oh, I've not had access to these people. That's why I'm stuck. You see that? So, but when you look deep down and you harness their journey with them, you introspect with them, you envision with them, you simply just realize that most times it is not a resource gap. Somebody should type in the comments. It is not a resource gap. It is a knowledge gap. It is an accountability gap. It is actually a community gap that is their problem. So you may want to as well, just complain about the season that you are in, where you are, and then you work with a coach, you work with a leader through maybe a clarity conversation, or you go to a class. All right, like we currently have a purpose project mentorship starting this Saturday. We're going to be demystifying and debunking all of this and really breaking them down in their different layers. And then you really just realize that, oh, my gap, I thought it was resource gap. I thought it was community gap. It's really not just that. It's a structure gap that I need to fill up. Do you see that? It's a structure gap. It's not because I lack the right people in my life. It is that I do not even have the structure to be able to honor the people I have in my life so that I can penetrate certain opportunities. I can have access to certain doors that will open up to me for me to be able to have access to the blessing that I'm looking forward to. Do you see that? That's it. So the question I want to ask you, as a purposeful individual, what gap do you think it's a problem? What gap it's a problem? Because every purpose has a community that can steward it. Every purpose has a community that can steward it, right? Every purpose has a community that can still word it. I'm telling you, as a community that can still word it. Not everybody in your circle can be a particular game changer on the purpose journey. Some people come into your life and they are just meant to be crusaders. The truth is, if you have not been able to come into that where you identify your gaps as someone on a journey of harnessing the life of purpose, it is going to be very difficult, extremely difficult, for you to understand the kind of people you even need in your life and how the people you already have in your life can be of a great support system. You see, sometimes I'm just looking at the work that we have to do, and I'm already thinking about, okay, this person can do this, that person can do that, and I'm writing to them, I'm sharing thoughts with them, I'm opening up to them. So, can you help us do this? Like I reached out to some of the people, past participants of our reading challenge yesterday, and I'm like, please, we need you to give us a testimonial video, a beautiful testimonial video that we can share to our community, so that those who are coming on board, we know that this is not just something we are starting now. They know that it is actually a transformational encounter. Do you see that? So that's me understanding how to leverage on a community that I already have access to. Some of you have wonderful people in your community that can really help you move from here to the next level. But you're not having enough conversations. You're not talking to them enough. You're simply just playing small. You're simply just looking at yourself and you're like, oh, thank God for where I am. I know that I'm not there yet, but I believe I will get there. Like one of my friends those days would always say, it's my birthday, thank God for life. I'm not where I used to be, but thank God I'm going somewhere. Those kind of prayers. Most of the times those things are just said out of ignorance because you really don't even know what you're saying. You have not been able to sit with yourself long enough to understand the uniqueness as someone who is a badass, who has been able to overcome and put in place all the sabotages that have actually limited you prior to this time. If you are learning, type I'm learning, Coach Faith. Type I'm learning. So let's look at them one after the other. We still have about 22 minutes to go. So every gap is real. Every gap also have a bridge. Okay? They also have a bridge. Oh my God, my slide is messed up. So every gap also have a bridge. So without even looking at the slide, I'm going to explain the different gaps briefly, and then we'll round up for the day. The clarity gap, like I said before, you cannot really put into context what you haven't named. I like you to put that down. You cannot put into context what you have not named. Your purpose gap bridging begins from how well you are able to name what area of life you need clarity. 58% of adults cannot describe their purpose in one sentence. So if I'm to ask you now, what is your purpose, Gary? What is your purpose, Jimo? What is your purpose, Faith? One quote, Mary, what is your purpose? Can you define it in one single sentence? So say, this is the reason I'm here. Okay? This is the reason I'm here. Without clarity, every decision is going to cost you energy. You keep moving in a direction you're not even sure of. So you dispense energy, you dispense time, you dispense attention, you dispense all the different resources, okay, at your disposal. The four major resources of this day and age, okay, that we use for making big time transactions in the earth realm, we can represent as the meat framework. The M is for money, energy, attention, time. So you will not know how to leverage these four compartments, these four protocol of really ensuring that you are able to gain the right clarity. So if someone asks you today, where is your life headed right now? Where is your life headed? What would you say, honestly speaking? What would you say? Someone comes right now and say, where are you headed? Where you they go? Okay? What would you say to the person? If it takes you more than 30 seconds or 30 minutes, 1 minute to answer that, it means that there is a gap in clarity. And then the knowledge gap is where we want to grow, but no one has actually taught us how to put a proper personal development structure together. You've never worked with a coach, you've never joined a community, so it's a problem. It's a problem. 77% of people have never had a structured personal development guide. Jimo, this is so vague, right? It's a glimpse, but it's vague. Okay? It's vague. The purpose is to teach, influence, and impact lives. That's more like a general conversation for those who have been sent to the industry of education. They know they have to teach, they know they have to influence, they know they have to impact people. A pastor can also say, I'm the called to teach, I'll be called to influence. A school teacher can say, I'll be called to teach, I'll be called to influence. Do you know what I'm saying now? So anybody can literally say, a lecturer in the university could say, I'll be called to teach, I'll be called to influence. Do you understand what I'm saying? But you must know for sure what it is. Okay? One course says to learn to be accountable and build a proper structure. So 77% of people have never been in a structured personal development program. They've never, they've never been there. They've never been there. That's why we are revisiting our reading challenge this year again to bring as many people as possible into the fold. So that when they come on board, they now understand that, oh, there's such a thing as personal development. There's such a thing as a structured personal development system that can truly help me build the capacity. So they can now sign up for a growth garden or any other program that is well put together, like we are currently organizing Purpose Project Mentorship right now. Someone can say, oh, I think I need that structure in my life. All right, I know it's good to read books on purpose, but let me have this structure where I can really follow a step-by-step process that will help me ascertain the result that I seek at the end of the day. So if 77% of people have never actually interacted with a structured personal development program, then there's a pandemic. So the problem when it comes to this is not your intelligence. The problem is that no one gave you the right map for the journey you're actually on. There is a map for the journey you are on. There is a map for the journey of purpose. No one gave you the map, right? No one gave you the map on how to navigate. The structured gap is the one that if you don't have it, you are outside, you'll be everywhere, you'll be scattered. Today you are here, tomorrow you are there. You're just everywhere. So you have this big dream, big desire, maybe even the talent, but you do not have a system to turn any of it into daily progress. Someone asked me a question today, where I went to. The person was like, oh, I graduated some so and so years ago. I think I have a skill. I think I have an ability. I think I can do this. I think I can do that. And then the person later reached out and was like, oh, ma'am, what do you think? How do I begin to learn this thing that you have suggested for me? I'm like, it begins from research. Huh? Go and read and research, right? Go and read and research. 91% of people who fail to reach their goals had no structured weekly review. Whatever gets structured gets done. Whatever you're able to put a structure around, you will be able to bring forth results in your home, in your family, in your parents, in your spiritual life. If there are no structures, forget about it. So gap theory that stalled a lot of people from bridging the gap between knowing and doing is the structure gap. I'm glad you are learning, Jeremiah. Okay, is the structure gap. Okay, so structure is important. You must be able to put structure in place to ensure that you're able to bridge as many gaps as possible. And then we have the accountability gap. I have heard this often and often again. People will be like, oh, I need an accountability partner. Oh, can you be my accountability partner? Most often, you don't even know what you're accountable for. What are you accounting for? So purpose gap number 4 is accountability. So there are seasons that people just start off a project. You see them with so much energy. Boom, boom, boom. For example, when I joined LinkedIn last year, when I became very active on LinkedIn last year, January, immediately I joined LinkedIn, I saw a lot of people who are also on fire. I know it was the buzz of the new year. They create content, they say they comment, all the different things we know how to do on LinkedIn. By the way, I'm on LinkedIn now, very active. You can you can follow me on LinkedIn at Faith Michael. So I saw these people, I was so impressed. I'm like, oh my God. In fact, I started to reach out to some people that I love what they are doing and all of that. But fast forward to like 3, 4 months into the year, a lot of people started dropping. They started dropping. So you would often reach out to them, maybe those that are close to you, and they will say, oh, I'm in a different season. Okay. If you ever told me that this is not to spite you, I'm teaching, I'm making a point. So I reached out to a lot of people, couple of people at that level, and they would often say they're in a different season. At some point, I'm like, what seasons are you guys in that you're not able to create structure around your workplace, around your expressions? Right? So if God had said I'm in a different season. He has created firmament and all of that. I decided to say it's in a different season. What would have happened to all the things that he was putting together? The Bible says he created for 6 days, and it was on the seventh day he rested. So Sabbath was deliberately the last thing he did after all the creation and all the work. So why should you be in different seasons and you suspend the work you're meant to do because you feel that you're in different seasons? I've interacted with a lot of people to know that many times when people say they're in a different season, so trust me, they are confused. If you've been there, type I've been there. Trust me, they are very much confused all the time. They are confused. They don't know what to do. They are stuck. Literally, they are stuck. Yes, that's what it is. They have gotten to that level where they are stuck. They don't know what to do. They have eaten the rooftop and they're like, where should I go from here? So they start to dilly-dally. They start to try different things that are not working, that are not yielding the result they anticipate. And before you know, their momentum, their motivation, they are all dying down slowly. And they just give up along the line because it wasn't really connecting in the first place. Thank God for the times that we're in because we have a lot of people who call themselves clarity coaches that want to help you gain clarity. But with the knowledge of what I'm sharing with you right now, you don't even need a clarity coach. What you need is a full-blown coaching mentorship that will sort of help you to begin to bridge all of these gaps so that at the end of the day, you're able to be met with. So that each time you just remember, you say, oh, I think that's a gap that I have. I think that's what the gap is. Do you see that? So you were not designed to do this alone. The strongest people in the world, they have coaches, they have partners, not because they are weak, because they are serious. No matter how good those great athletes are, they still have coaches. They have coaches. Someone is ranking the best in a particular field for 5 straight years, and they're so good, and they still have coaches. They still return to their daily routines. They still do their work every day. The first time I read the biography of Celine Dion, how many of you know Celine Dion? Okay, I read a biography, and there was a line that struck me. She was like that there was a season that for 5 years she needed to be rehearsing about 5 to 10 hours every day a particular pitch, for 5 good years. Come on now, what are you saying? What are you saying? You have a gap and you know what that gap is. And you know you are meant to be a leader in a space. You are meant to be able to serve at a superior level. You know, God has given you some of those instincts so you are able to understand that this is where I am. For example, Moses at the very onset already had the instinct for delivering people. Okay, he already had the deliverance instinct. I've always had the genius instinct, the intellectual instinct right from a tender age. I started teaching my fellow classmates right in primary school, not even kidding. Looking back in retrospect right now, I can really see what it was. I've always had that genius instinct that anybody that comes around me, if you're so dull, you don't want to be, you don't want to build yourself. The first recommendation you see me do is, I want to recommend you some books. Do you mind? Because I know that if you can read those books and we can come up higher in our consciousness, it will be easier for us to have a conversation that will sort of position you to experience swiftness and accuracy in the areas that you need help. Do you see that? So that accountability is not really about having an accountability partner. It's about knowing where you are and knowing the kind of person that you need to reach out to that will sort of help you get the result that you seek. Okay? The next one is identity gap, which is number 5. Many people don't know who they are. You don't know who you are. Knowing who you are is the beginning of wisdom. So 1 in 3 people say that their biggest obstacle is not their circumstances, it is their self-image, how they see themselves. For those of you that are currently just running up psycho-cybernetics with me, yeah, kudos to you, kudos to you. If you are joining us for the first time, go and read psycho-cybernetics. Come on now. Go and read psycho-cybernetics. Okay? Self-image. So 1 in 3 people, what a great pandemic. 1 in 3 people say that their biggest obstacle is not the circumstances, it is their self-image. Do you see that? How you see yourself can influence the work that you do. Because if you do not believe that you carry so much weight, you don't believe that you carry so much anointing, that you don't need to joke with, that you don't need to play with, that you need to be schooled to come into that arena deeply so that you're able to serve at the highest level of your potentialities, then you are joking. You are joking. You are playing with your life. You are joking. Because this is the time you need to wake up and say, yeah, I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to step in. I'm ready to begin to realign those limiting orientations that I have captured over the years for something more profitable, for something more formidable in the light of where I'm headed, in the light of my assignment, in the light of where I'm going. So, do you actually believe you are the kind of person who lives on purpose? Do you actually believe it? If you were meant to be a teacher, maybe to teach leaders of industries, have you looked at yourself and be like, am I sure I carry the, the self-image concept of the fact that I can truly help these people? Because when you know you have the capacity to help the people, you show up boldly. You show up with so much capacity and desperity. You show up in the room. And the way you even carry yourself, you're not slouching over. You already know. They already know that you are the woman for the season. You are the man for the season. You know why? Because you see yourself differently. That is the gap of identity. A lot of people have this gap. Come on. A lot, majority. One in every three people. Can you imagine? Every three persons you see, one has an issue with that. They have issues with their identity, the way they see themselves, the perception about self. They have it. Yes, thank you for that. They have it. There's an identity gap. So each time you show up strong, you do certain things. And this is the reason many people also play down their success. They play down them. So you've done something so well, they're like, oh my God, Coach Faith, you did that assembly well. You say, oh, it's well, it's God, though. It's not easy. You know, you refuse to accept and acknowledge the blessing that you brought to the earth, that you carry a certain dimension of grace that people need to reckon with, that you too have to begin to show up more radically in the space that you've been called so that people can acknowledge the capacity that you carry, so people can acknowledge the audacity that you bring to the marketplace. All right? Because if people can acknowledge the audacity that you bring to the marketplace, trust me, trust me, trust me, you will be so good. You are going to be so accepted and praised and celebrated. People who receive accolades, they receive celebration, they receive awards. It's not because there was never a time they didn't have gap in their life, but they were deliberate about sitting down to begin to look into those gaps, bridge them adequately, and see to it that they are able to continually build themselves. So that identity gap is a factor. Are you learning? You are learning that factor. It is. Then we also have the next gap there, which is our mindset gap. This one is why I read the work of Perez well. We are constantly doing the work. You see, my life is really about personal development. That's what my life is about. Anyway, you just press me. Personal development just oozes out. It comes out. It's a perfume. It's my it's in my DNA. That's why I'm here. To help you build productivity system, build capacity, do the needs so that you can actually build yourself. Mindset gap. You are not thinking wrong, but you are thinking with an old version of yourself. So this one is also hinged upon your identity gap. The way you see yourself influences how you think about yourself. Do you see that most adults they have 6 to 8 limiting beliefs formed before the age of 15? Most adults they have limiting orientations about who they are. Those limitations were never challenged, they were never replaced. But those beliefs are running silently in the background of their decision. It's running silently in their lives. You see somebody running in circles, trying to make certain decisions in life, but they are stuck. Someone is now 40. They have refused to make decision of a life partner. Even though they have suitors coming around, even though they have people coming around, there is so much to say to that. That sometimes we often attribute some of those things to spiritual problems. Whereas there is a gap in your life that you've not been able to bridge. There are limiting beliefs that you've formed about yourself that makes you to see yourself a certain way. All right. And at the end of the day, before you know it, something bad is just happening. So people with a growth mindset tend to achieve their goals 34% faster. It's not about positive thinking. It's really about upgrading your operating system that is running your life. How many of you know that there's an operating system running your life? There's an operating system that has been formed even before you become 15, become 10. It's been formed for a long time. 6 to 8 limiting beliefs has been formed even before you got to that age. So now there has to be a lot of rewiring, there has to be a lot of realignment, a lot of conversations, a lot of all of that to ensure that one is able to sort of do that. Action is a gap 7. This one we all know that it is 80% of people are waiting for the right time. Who is on this table? Right time people. Type right time. Right time people. They are waiting for the right time before they start pursuing their purpose. They are waiting for the right time. The right time is not coming, but they keep waiting. All right? The truth is, I always say that action breeds clarity and confidence. Clarity, yes, Carol Dweck, thank you. Clarity breeds confidence. It brings clarity by the word breathe, breeds, ds not x, ds breeds to cultivate. So action is a cultivator. It is the crucible upon which clarity is manufactured. It is the incubator that helps to solidify the type of clarity that is needed for us to stand firm as authorities in our niches, as authorities in our spaces. So waiting for the right time to pursue your purpose. The right time. If God already ascertained that the right time for you to be here is now, so what right time are you waiting for before you finally step into the purpose? What right time are you waiting for? A lot of us want to see the whole staircase. We want to see everything before we can take the next step. We want to see the whole staircase. Yes, we want to see the way it is before we can take the next step. Some people say, in fact, there's this book I had some years ago, but someone took it, follow the stairs, not the elevator. Follow the stairs and not the elevator. Many of us are looking for quick fixes, whereas the solution that we need for our life, they are all locking behind. Okay, the next one is community gap. This is how you get to look at the 5 people you spend the most of your time with. All right, ask yourself, am I growing with them? Am I building? Okay, will they tell you if your dream is possible and truly mean it? Will they support you? Will they applaud you? 95% of performers credit community as a key factor in their success. Community is powerful. It is powerful. All right. The number 9 is resources. If you followed me from the beginning, I already spoke about resources, money resource, time resource, energy resource, and attention resource. Okay. In place of money, if I had money, I would start. If I had more time, I would begin. If I had more energy, then I would do what I'm called to do. So we talk about this all the time. We will say them to ourselves. 72% of people, all right, cite lack of resources as the reason they never pursue their calling. As the reason they never pursue their calling. All right, I already explained that. Let's move on to the last one, which is the sustainability gap. Sustainability was gap. At this level, you have had some breakthroughs before. You have had moments of epiphany, clarity, and all of that. All right. Even the times that it was almost as though you were moving so fast, we're doing a lot of stuff. But after a while, a lot of things just dies down and the gravity pulls you back. We've had situations where someone will say, oh, I used to be this, I used to be that, but life happens. Here I am right now. I don't think you want to be that person who tells such a story that is not fully in alignment, who tells such a story that is not fully connected. All right. So sustainability is very important. 80% of people return to old patterns within 90 days. That's why they say motivation can only get you started, but it is discipline that keeps you engaged for a long time. It is discipline that keeps you connected. Since 2020, guys, I've never stopped teaching. I've taught every single day, except for possibly a few days I was not so solid in my heart, but I've taught every single day. All right. Were there seasons I was tired? Were there seasons I was like, I don't think I can do this again? All right. But I kept on going. That's what it is. So we have all looked at the gaps, we have identified. I want you to know that there is so much that you can do. When you know the gap, right, and you are honest about it, it will be easier for us to now make some recommendations. Here are 3 steps that you need to begin to take in order for you to be able to bridge your gaps. Number 1, know your gaps. It begins from there. Knowing yourself is the beginning of wisdom. Know your gaps, The moment you know your gas, every other thing will follow. Get a mentor or a coach, someone that can help you, hold you by the hand. And lastly, start a purpose project. Like I said, in the place of action. If you have been looking for clarity, you've been looking to develop your confidence level. Clarity is what staying put on the path is what you need to be able to bring that level of confidence. So when you pick up a purpose project, pick one that is aligned with your calling and begin building it. Execution is what brings clarity on a deeper level. You would understand your gaps better on the path than in waiting. Do you see that? You will understand your gaps better than you will when you are waiting. That's why people keep waiting. The truth is, if you keep waiting and someone started today, in the next 5 years, you are still waiting. The person becomes your mentor. It becomes your coach because they've been in the field. They've not just been interacting with head knowledge. Head knowledge is for everyone. But when it comes to really stepping into the field to do the work, you've got to be ready to give them the accolades. Because it's not easy to be a soldier in the field and be fighting war for 5 good years while you are sleeping and waiting for clarity before you will even step up. Before you will even step up. So you are waiting for clarity before you step up. And as a result, clarity never what comes. Clarity never comes. So it becomes a person that is moving around in circles. Do you see that, family? Have you learned something? Have you learned something? So we have established the foundation of what purpose means. We cannot really exhaust this. I've spoken about the 10 different gaps, and many of you identified your gaps, and I've also shared with you the 3-step pathway to ensuring that you're able to bridge the gap. I say, know your gaps, get a mentor or a coach, and start off a purpose project. How many of you are ready to start off a purpose project? If you already type purpose project, and if you have started already, type I have started. I'd love to really celebrate you. Join our upcoming purpose project mentorship. I'll be singing it too. Some people have reached out to me, Coach Faith, when are you doing it again? We're not certain. We have a lot coming on board, right? We have a lot coming on board. We're not certain of when we are doing the next one. Hopefully, we may still have one edition for the end of the year, possibly. We don't know yet. So even if we are doing it again, obviously it's not going to be in this amount. Giving you the emerging leadership package for $18, who does that? Giving you the visionary package for $55 and even the executive package for $200. That's a lot of steel. And if you want to get on board, don't joke with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Get on board. Get on board. Reach out to me and let's do this. All right? Someone says, let me see your feedback. Someone says, thank you, Coach Faith, for this transformative and insightful session. You are welcome. I'm glad you've learned. I'm glad you've been able to interact with such light within the few minutes we've been together. Thank you so much for your time. All right. Don't forget, if you want to take this deeper, reach out to join our mentorship starting this Saturday. Let's take this to the next level. And for all members of Growth Garden, you still have your 10%. By Friday, we're locking on registration, no more access to further notice. Thank you so much. And then we also have our upcoming review challenge. We're going to be sharing more details about that, and we're going to be talking about it on a deeper level. If you've never participated in the review challenge before, you should participate. Even though you have participated before, this is your opportunity to also come back and shine your light in different areas that you may also be in need of support. Thank you so much for your time. Let me see if you can see my face. Yay. Can you see my face? Thank you so much for your time. All right. Welcome, I guess you're already in. I shared the details with you already. All right. Good night, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.